guys? Michael Anthony here. Thank you guys for checking out our video. We just got back from this amazing trip in Paris and Amsterdam, and I wanted to talk to you guys for a couple of minutes about planning and executing destination portfolio shoots, right? So this is the third one that we've done in, the fourth one that we've done in just a little over a year. And we've been doing these shoots ever since about 2014. Our first one was out in Hawaii, where we planned one of these shoots and we used them for our portfolio purposes. And a lot of times we get asked by friends, family, even other photographers, why would we do this? Why are we going to spend all this money to travel to a different country to produce images for clients who are probably not getting married in those locations, right? The most common misconception that people think is that we're doing this because we want to book destination weddings. That couldn't be further from the truth. To be honest with you guys, destination weddings are not very profitable, and they do take you out of the office for a lot of time, even if they are fun, right? So the goal here is not to produce images that are going to help us book destination weddings. In other words, what we're actually trying to do is we're trying to create images that help our portfolio stand out from the sea of competitors here in our local market of Los Angeles. So let me just give you guys a scenario for a second, right? Bride's walking through a bridal show, or they're scrolling through a website and they're seeing a million images, some of them of the same thing over and over and over again. The Walt Disney Concert Hall, Pasadena City Hall, all of the locations in Los Angeles that we typically shoot at. And over time, clients, their eyes are not trained to see the differences, the minute differences in photography like we are as photographers, right? So these images can look the same as, you know, they see more and more different portfolios along a similar style. My goal when we started doing this was to create images that are completely different than anything that they've ever seen before. So oftentimes we might take a picture in front of a really unique or ornate church in Europe, and then when we're at bridal shows, a bride might walk up to us and they might ask us, where was this image taken, right? And we'll tell them, hey, it was taken in, you know, a different state, it was taken in a different country, but it becomes a conversation starter, and it allows us to create more useful dialogue with our clients or potential clients in order to help secure more bookings, right? In other words, what we do this for is to make sure that our portfolio stands out and is unique and is different as it can possibly be, especially in a market today that is really, really crowded with photographers, right? So how do you guys do this? How do you execute these shoots that are going to take place overseas? As you guys know, when you're planning something like this from 9,000 miles away, oftentimes, you know, anything can go wrong, right? You can run into weather problems as we have before. You can run into problems with logistics. You can run into flaky models, right? So there's a lot of things you can do, and while you can't eliminate every single risk that's going to happen with one of these shoots, you can definitely do yourself a favor and eliminate some of the risks that are going to, you know, potentially pop up down the line, right? So first thing you want to do, right? Plan a concept and a style. That is the most important thing that I can actually tell you to do when you're going into this. You should walk into your shoot with a location picked out, with models picked out, hair and makeup picked out, attire picked out, and even visualize the shots that you want to try to get before you actually show up and take them. That'll help make sure that the day runs smooth and you're not wasting time. This is from trial and error, guys. We have made these mistakes over time in planning these, and I'm trying to make sure that you guys don't make these mistakes when you're planning them as well too. So what I like to do is I like to create a Pinterest board that has all of the different inspirational images in terms of posing, in terms of, you know, the location, in terms of the attire, all of those things that I could help bring together into one particular vision on the day of, right? The second thing that I have to say is when you guys are hiring your talent, make sure that you're looking to agencies. I cannot tell you guys how big of a mistake it can be to try to hire a local model, have everything planned out, just to get a phone call in the morning saying, hey, I'm sick, I'm not gonna show up today, right? That is like the worst feeling in the world, especially when you've traveled so far and put so much work into planning. The best thing I can say is to make sure you're paying your models and to acquire them through an agency in order to make sure that they show up, right? Another way that you guys can do this, if you don't want to pay for models, is to invite your current clients to go with you. We've done this in the past. It's worked excellent. Our clients love it. And every time we plan these portfolio shoots, we actually stack on an additional day for our clients as well, if any of them want to meet us over there. Now, it doesn't happen every time. I'm not going to tell you that every time we plan one of these, our clients will go with us to a foreign country. But we get inquiries every single time, and oftentimes our clients will actually join us as well, and it's an incredible experience for them, right? The next thing is attire. Where do you guys find the attire for these things? Well, if you're a wedding photographer, one of the things that you can do is you can try partnering with a local vendor, a local gown store, or local tuxedo provider, in order to provide the attire for these shoots. In return, you guys can give them images back, or give them a print or something to display in their store that will be good for your brand and for theirs as well too. If you guys are doing fashion shoots, like you saw some of the red dress stuff that we were doing, Jennifer bought her red dress from revolveclothing.com. It's a website that she likes to buy clothes from. Or you guys can buy the more ornate dresses, the more fashion inspired dresses from things like eBay, Amazon, or Etsy. Those are some of the best places to find dresses and have custom dresses made. A lot of times we might take 2 or 3 parts from a dress and have a seamstress stitch them all together to make one. Okay, but remember guys, because a lot of times these things come from overseas themselves in China, you might have to plan this months in advance. We're usually reaching out to our seamstress 2 to 3 months in advance to make these dresses for us before we go on to these trips. Okay, very, very important, right? The next thing, hair and makeup, okay? I know it's expensive, these shoots the cost can get up there, but it's really important, in my opinion, to have professional hair and makeup when you guys are planning this, right? You're investing hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars into a portfolio shoot. I definitely think that you should spend a little bit extra, make sure you get hair and makeup, and not only that, the hair and makeup artist who can come with you on the day can actually provide an extra set of hands, which is really, really useful. Definitely think it's a great idea, right? The next thing that I wanna tell you guys to do is to pack as light as possible, okay? The first destination wedding we ever photographed was in Lake Como, Italy. I'll never forget it, right? I brought a Loa Pro X300 bag completely full. I had to check in the bag with some equipment. I also had to check in my light stand bag, and we were carrying things all over Europe, on the train stations, across the cobblestone streets. It was just a total nightmare, total pain in the butt, right? So what I've tried to do now is I try to pack as light as possible. Even this last trip, I brought equipment that I didn't even really need to, and I think I've got, for our next trip, our travel kit figured out. If you guys are filming behind the scenes, I really, really highly recommend the GoPro, the Hero 6. This entire video was shot on the GoPros. I'm shooting this right now on a GoPro. I absolutely love this camera. I'm so happy that I bought it, and we're gonna be using this more in the future. In this shoot, we use the Fuji GFX system for the most part. And I really do like the GFX system, but if you guys are using Sony, the A7R is a great choice, the 5D Mark IV, the Nikon D850, all these high resolution, high dynamic range cameras, even if they shoot a little bit slower, are better options for these shoots because you have control over all of the circumstances for the most part, right? Next thing I want to say is when you guys are planning a shoot at a touristy location, right? Somewhere like the Eiffel Tower, for instance, right? Plan your shoot as early as possible. Let me tell you a little learning experience that we had on this trip, right? Last time we went to Paris, we actually planned the shoot and we started at 6 in the morning. No big deal, right? There was nobody there when we got there. So we said, hey, we're gonna do the same thing this time. When I got to Paris, I looked up sunrise. Sunrise wasn't until 9 o'clock in the morning, right? So of course, by the time we got there were tourists everywhere already at 9 a.m. As the sun was going up, they were there to watch the sunrise, okay? So you have to plan these things in advance, or you're gonna be spending a lot of time in retouching like we had to do. If you guys saw the background of the scenes in Paris at the Eiffel Tower, there were people everywhere, right? So that took a lot of retouching to remove some of those people from those images. But one thing you guys can do to avoid that, if you guys are traveling in the summertime, get up really early, get to these locations at about 6 in the morning. Again, if you're doing hair and makeup, that means the model's gonna have to be ready at 4 a.m. and you're paying for that time, right? So just keep this in mind when you're planning your budget out for these shoots. But definitely get there early to take advantage of the low crowds, right? Afterwards, guys, what I want to say is when you guys are using these images in your marketing, okay, very, very important to make sure you're mixing in images from destination jobs with images from local jobs as well too. One of the mistakes that I made about 2 years ago, right, when we started doing this, is I started filling up my portfolio, especially the top, 15 images, with just destination photos, right? And that's good, but when a bride hits your website, especially if they're coming off of a Google or a non-referral, a non-referral source, they might not know where you're located, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you're providing a lot of images of landmarks local to you in your portfolio, so that the brides and grooms and whoever else is, looking for you knows that you guys are a XYZ city wedding photographer, right? You're not just shooting destination weddings by itself. You don't want to create that confusion. The goal behind these images, guys, is to help create conversation starters, help to create images that are unique and different, and also allow your clients an excellent experience in the form of joining you on these shoots as well too, which we love to do as well. So I am going to take some time, guys, to answer any questions that you guys might have in regards to planning these destination portfolio shoots or even shooting destination weddings. We do quite a few of those. So if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and leave them in the comment box below. Please hit the subscribe button. I know this channel is new. I'm hoping to provide as much content and value as I can as we're going on here. But I look forward to getting you guys to subscribe and pushing that out to you as much as we can. Thanks a lot, guys, for checking out our video, and can't wait to catch you on the next one.